Intro. Oh, hey, hey.
Hey,
What's
hey,
up?
hey, we're
Hey,
live.
what?
What the hell is this? Who are
We're
you
back.
guys?
Hey, where you guys been?
What
My
month
hoodie
is
still
this?
fits, so that's good.
Mine actually doesn't.
Yeah, it shrunk a little bit.
Look, mine. You can see how cold it is in my place.
It's cold in the bay.
It's a
Oh,
bit
it must be
nipply
cold
in
over there.
Idaho.
What the heck?
Okay.
Oh
Welcome
man.
to the show. It's GBP Roast. We got a
Yep. Welcome.
handyman
Welcome.
upcoming. We're going to roast him, and I'm going to go over heat maps with Microsoft Clarity.
Hey,
I can't see that
GBP
video.
roast, GBP roast. Sorry, you in danger. Right now, I gotta flame you. This is GBP roast, GBP roast. On your Google business profile, it's about to go down. We roasting and reacting. We ain't come to play. 20 years in SEO, JP Lambo and Dre, bringing facts and guests. Oh yeah, we bring the dopeness. Welcome to the show. Hope your profile don't get roasted.
Yeah, I'm like probably like at least 8 pounds heavier from that intro video. Oh man, look at that.
Welcome back. Today's sponsor, as always.
Oh, yes.
Schema sucks.
The schema is a sucking.
Hey, big shout out to those who watched the GBP roast show who came up to me at the HRF's conference.
Two
Thank you.
people came up to you.
Yeah, well, that's still 2 people. So it's better.
It's more than me.
none, right? And so thank you for the feedback. We're trying to fix that sound. Roger, I think that was you that told me that. So thank you for letting me know and letting us know. But we are back, right? Back on regular
We
scheduled
are.
program.
We had a long break, long vacation.
It was kind of unexpected.
Yeah, we actually I surprised Keith yesterday. I don't think he knew what was going on when we had our once a month meeting in the Trident group.
Still in shock.
So I actually extended the group. Normally I was going to shut it down and not have any more support, but just kind of the way things are moving with local, I think it's in everyone's best interest to keep it going. I'm not going to be updating the back end material, but people can still join the Discord group where we are going to have information shared, our once a month meetings, but you'd have to reach out to Keith or myself because we are going to have kind of an application process because I just want to make sure that we're getting some good people in there because we're kind of turning into kind of mastermindy type of material, a little bit more kind of high end. It's not going to just be local, but we're going to cover some AI stuff in there, websites, kind of some old school marketing that I'm going to share. But yeah, if you guys are interested in joining, reach out to Keith Evans or myself.
There you go. Love it. All right. Let's get into our first reaction video for today.
I've been waiting.
Helps your local SEO and it takes 30 seconds. Open Google Maps, search your business, click share, embed a map, copy HTML. Then go to your website and paste it on your contact page and footer if you can. Also add a get directions button that links to the same maps location. It's real proof you're nearby and more directions clicks that can support your local presence.
Well,
quick.
It doesn't really do the things that he said.
Uh-huh.
But should you do it? Yes, especially like off of a contact page or your about page. The jury's still out. You know, some people swear by it. Some people don't use it at all. But remember, those iframes can also slow down your site. So just be aware of that extra content paint that might be slowing down on the mobile downloads.
Yep.
I would just say you could even just have a photo in there if you wanted to and just have the link go out. But just keep in mind, because a lot of times people will start embedding on like every single page. Anytime you do an A-frame, it does eventually start to slow down your site performance a little bit. So just keep that in mind if you already have pretty bad performance like you're going to see on the site we're about to roast today. That's something you want to consider. So
having dedicated driving directions page, what do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think that was one of the first episodes we had. I showed some examples, like if you're driving from the north side, click this link. If you're driving from the south side, west side. So I think it's anything you can use to help the user, find your office or restaurant or whatever type of business you have, the better. I think it's good to kind of get those links coming in because, again, anything you can use to help kind of force that proximity to a user, that would be great. So
And something
Wow.
like that, Jordan, I mean, have a dedicated page, just directions might be in the nav.
I would say anything where you think someone's going to convert to come visit you. I would say one of the biggest things would be like if you're a restaurant owner, put it on like the menu page, because someone's going to maybe read the menu, kind of on the bookings, you know,
Thinking about
order a table.
the next step, like
Yeah,
what,
kind of the
what will
next
they
step.
do next? Are they going to call for
Yeah.
takeout? Or
Yeah,
do
once they
wanna
book, like, you
come
know,
in?
book an appointment or book a time to come in
Oh,
to the
you're going
restaurant.
low, Jordan. You're
What's
close to the
that?
mic.
Is that
Oh,
better?
yeah,
Yeah.
that.
So I would say book something where it is kind of that next step. Hey, we've made an appointment. Here's some directions to come see us, depending on where you're at. So
There you go. Love it. And also, one of the things I actually learned at Ahrefs by Cyrus Shepard, if you guys didn't know, he was a secret Google search rater, which he is no longer part of. So now he can actually share that information. That having a lot of more helpful information on your navigation shows a lot of trust. So like having maybe some directions on there, showing caller phone number or whatever, anything that kind of like shows some type of trust in the navigation actually helps a lot with trust. So there you go. All right. Reaction video number two. Number two. There we go. Number two.
We worked with a client recently that saw a major drop in rankings after a Google algorithm update.
At first, we thought it could be a number of things, but then we noticed something interesting.
The reviews had been steady until suddenly they flatlined. And that made us wonder, is it possible that review recency could be impacting their rankings? Crazy idea, I know. Hear me out. We actually reached out to the client to see what had happened. It turns out that they had stopped rewarding their staff for bringing in new reviews.
I don't know what I expected.
Yep, they used to have a weekly lottery where any staff member who was mentioned in a Google review got entered to win a prize of anywhere from $5 to $50.
And when they stopped doing that, well, the reviews stopped and the rankings dropped.
So we told them to bring back the reward system, and surprise, reviews started coming in again.
And here's what happened. Just like that, their rankings started to improve again, just like we told them it would.
Thoughts?
I was kind
interesting.
of hoping at the end of that they were going to say, and please click here for our review management software, right? Like clickbait, like I got you, sons of bitches.
that's kind of contradictory too to what a lot of the people preach. I probably wouldn't do that because if the FCC or not the FCC, the FTC finds out you're doing something like that, they could come after you because you're giving rewards to people to leave reviews and incentivizing them.
It's not the person leaving the review. It's actually the person asking for the review. Like remember how you talked about if someone's on site, let them
Like an
scan it.
extra
Like
commission.
if it's an employee asking for it.
it's an employee asking for like review
okay.
them.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing. So I would say, but every business has that, even if they're not getting actual online reviews. A lot of businesses have some type of like, if you call into a major like bank, for example, and you say, hey, we're gonna have a short survey after this, let us know how we did.
Mhm.
That's pretty common practice. So it makes sense too. But one thing that came to my desk about a week ago, another fellow SEO was telling me about how he lost a lot of reviews because a lot of the reviews came in like late at night.
Oh.
Like there was an influx of reviews that came in from like 10 o'clock to like 3 a.m, and most of those reviews actually dropped off after a while.
And they were real.
And so
They're-
the way that I think of that is most people are going to leave a review during business hours, usually maybe after they had that interaction with the business. I think that probably Google's spam filter system, this is something you guys may want to pay attention to. If you find that you're getting reviews at like certain times of the day, maybe that could also kind of have an impact of the filtering that's happening, whether they stick or not, or even if they even get put through. Maybe also check in some ranking fluctuations of when those reviews are being done, if you kind of notice things are bouncing around a little bit. So it's interesting that reviews has such a huge impact, and it's been that way for since I started.
Mhm.
It's a real genuine signal, right?
Yeah.
And yet we see lots of complaints on lots of fake reviews, and there does tend to be a bit of a surge, but I think that then there is that drop off. And that's one little nugget that we can kind of extract from what Sterling Sky mentions, which is your reviews stopped and your ranking dropped, that actually is something that you might want to investigate your branding. You may not be as strong as you think you are. It's because of the sales and getting the activity over to your map. So there's a little bit of a hole there. That's really uncommon, right? To see that kind of a quick drop off. If your competitors outpace you with reviews, that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
But if you personally just your reviews slow down,
they're probably not going to recommend a company either that's not consistent and said, hey, if you're not getting enough customers coming in, we're probably not going to recommend you in the first part of results, right? So I think more importantly, just consistently always ask for them. I don't think it's necessary like have some special promotion Friday where you send out asking for reviews. Like just ask for it after every single interaction that you have.
Lambo, Keith Lambo. Hey,
Yes.
that was actually they actually mentioned that on the second part of the video, which I cut off because it was going to get too long. But yeah, because I believe the competitors were also getting more, so that was kind of one of the factors as well. Like,
and I think that really is the more determining factor, because Google can look at that algorithm and say you are not getting as many reviews as your competitors.
Yep.
So what do you do, right?
Yep. All right, there we go. Now it's time to get to our roast. All right, so we are doing what a Boise Handyman. Is it Boise?
Who wants to
Boise? Is
drive
it Boise?
here?
Boise?
Anybody? Raise your hand. Me? I guess I'm your designated
You want me to drive? I can drive.
driver. Let me pull it up here.
I'll drive.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna take over.
Do it.
So the reason why I wanted to start the drive is because
there goes.
Can you guys see my screen?
Oh no, is it showing? It's showing, right?
Sorry, we're dusting off here and
oh no, that's showing your screen. There you go. Yeah.
All right. Alrighty. So one thing I wanted to a couple things. This is really hard to read.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of these chats, they're using a lot of like iframes. So when you guys heard me talk about like be careful in doing iframes, maps, things like that, it can really slow down the performance. This entire site's built on WordPress. They're using Elementor, which is just a web page builder for WordPress. Elementor has been notorious for being extremely lagging and kind of how it renders pages. It's a lot of client-side rendering. So it's basically what that means. It's waiting for your browser to fully load on like my computer rather than coming in from the server where it's actually serving a page to you. So keep that in mind. There's a little tool. I've shared this several times before. It's called SEO Render Insight Tool. It's just a Chrome extension. As soon as I turn this on, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. We haven't even scrolled down, and that's a huge amount of client-side rendering. You don't want this. Anything over like 10, 15% is pretty bad.
Content side rendering, kids.
Okay.
What happened if they do like that lazy load thing? Or like if it loads when you scroll down, is that something that would help out?
So that's usually going to be JavaScript too. So that you don't want to do that because a lot of times you'll see like when pages are loading, you'll see like these little banners kind of like float in. That's still using rendering on my end. So I wouldn't do that. These guys are also doing an embed. And one thing too is, let me go ahead and jump out this one so you don't see the lines anymore. But you'll see they have like a chat box here that's not even operable anymore. I can't even close it down. I can't even close it down.
Whoa! No way.
So now I got to refresh.
So I guess. Oh, nice. You refreshed.
So now I refresh the page, but imagine if you're doing that and it's still taking a long time for this to load. Again, I haven't even gone into anything about them, who they are. The page performance is very bad. It's loading the rendered total speed index, basically total load time is 10 seconds.
But guess
Keep in mind that Googlebot stays on your pages for about 5 to 6 seconds, like max. Sometimes 4. It just kind of depends on what their performance is. But lately, it's been right around hovering around like 5 seconds. So anything over 5, if you don't have a fully rendered page, you're missing out a lot of opportunity, especially if you have a ton of content that you're writing in. Oops, excuse me. On your homepage, especially if you're using a page like this for your Google business profile, which I think I looked at their profile, they are using their homepage.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of content in here, it's an extremely slow loading site. You're missing a lot of opportunity for be able to pull in that that relevance coming in from your site, because Google Business pulls in a lot of relevance. A lot of rankings are very powerful that are coming directly from your site or whatever page, which Keith and I call it GeoHub. So whatever that GeoHub is actually pulling in is what actually helps you rank. So again, anything loading over 4 or 5 seconds, you're missing out.
But wait a minute. None of this seems to matter because he's like top 3, number 1 when you search for a Boise handyman. So Jordan's full of shit. No one
I
cares.
am full of shit. Totally full of shit.
Why? It's because he has the keyword domain. He's using the city Boise. He's got handyman, and bam, he's there. And he does have tons of entities. Like it's an overabundance of information. It's just the development side is poorly done.
What do you mean by
wouldn't be
entities?
surprised that he loses out maybe on some mobile because people are like, oh my gosh, I just want your phone number. I just wanted, can you help fix us, fix my dishwasher, whatever.
Keith, you mentioned entities. What do you mean by entities for those that don't understand?
So
There's a ton of entities.
A noun and words related to your subject. So if I was going to talk about a handyman, I would probably talk about a broken faucet, a kitchen, repairing a cabinet, countertops, all a variety of things. And if you notice, he has them in a lot of the headlines and a lot of that information, which if you're a GBP Roast fan, we talk about it a lot. You can't talk about being a handyman if you don't talk about repairing a lot of those things that maybe a single parent or a senior citizen would like to have repaired or fixed in their home.
So basically, think of entities as basically synonyms. I'm going to use just example just because I don't have a handyman page for our site yet. But pest control, these are types of things that you want to put into your site. Pest control, exterminator, ant control. Entities that you're going to be pulling up here are going to be, these would be entities that you could use in this particular case for pest control. So termites, fire ants, cockroaches, types of services. So like if we go back to handyman, to the handyman page, these are all kind of entities, within itself. So think of like, there's multiple ways to say the same thing. So there's handyman. So it knows as like handyman is kind of the umbrella of services, and these are sub-services. Google's pretty smart. They know that, a handyman is typically going to offer kind of like small repairs.
Yeah. So we have the word mounting, installation, replacement, repair, all related words. Someone with a keen eye, certainly on the SEO and the keyword side, has spent some time here, which is good.
Yep.
Just a reminder for everyone that's watching, because I actually totally for everyone that every time we do an episode, Jordan, you actually put together a sample site of what we are doing, of how it should be optimized, right? So if anyone in every industry wants to, get some cheat sheet to get your site going, be sure to check out gbproast.com.
There's lots of great things too, from a general conversion and a good user satisfaction and raising the emotion. Like, that the actual handyman is there with his child. People want to know, who am I going to talk to on the phone? Who's coming to my house? What can you do? But yeah, you can kind of see though, an amateur, the average homeowner will overdo, right? Like, oh, I've been following GBP Roast and they say I should use entities, and they're just pounding away with all these headlines.
And there you go. Love it. Be sure to watch the episode recap and visit our website, gbproast.com. All right, next segment.
Hello.
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 La 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 la
There we
la
go.
la. My turn. Lambo's World. La 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 la. Lambo's World. Lambo likes conversions and SEO too. That's Lambo's world. Ba-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. I am going to jump into today, kids, on how to use a little bit of the Microsoft Clarity. And I've actually have, let me double check. I've got I use a special, let's say special. I use a different login for my Clarity access. And this is basically a dashboard that allows you to really see what are users doing when they come to the site. And what I really wanted to just sort of jump into, it's totally free. You just go search Microsoft Clarity, you embed the code, and I do think that some of the European nations are having some troubles because of privacy issues and such, but there's tons of data and tons of information here. But we're just going to make it real simple and easy. And we're going to jump into heat maps, right? This is, let me see, maybe I should just zoom in just a skosh here. Yeah, that's gorgeous. This is a mobile view of the home page for a exterior contractor. So right away you notice they are in love with the menu, the old hamburger stack. 22 clicks on the phone. This is over the past year. And as you scroll down, you know, noticing people are using their two fingers a lot of times. But this is what's interesting. I only have one click on that first call to action. So there's some key information is to say, hey, maybe I don't need to, on a home page, right away come out with an offer, right? Like, I just want to get them to know more about my business first before letting them set that estimate. One sneaky thing I like to do too is have this quick access to, so that people can avoid the menu and they can just sort of get to a particular department. I'll look at the desktop and you'll see what I'm talking about there. This is interesting too. On the initial design, I have this, these are they're hoverable and you can click in, but notice that people aren't really clicking into this information. Yes, it's good for an SEO point of view and for the user to say, we do these things, but for me, for the CRO, they're actually not clicking. So I would need to look at a way of maybe having some sort of, especially on mobile, like how can I really indicate that you can do something? Notice too, now we're down to only 8 clicks on the phone. Clicks get less and less. So I have an all service button, only 4 clicks there, only 3 clicks over onto the consultation. Clicks will diminish. So the more important the information is, you got to have it high up on the page. Schedule an appointment, just more general, you know, that feel good information about us, some keyword stuffing, a button to the gallery. And again, look at only 1 click there and no clicks on mobile to the About Us page. If we jump over to desktop, things are going to change a little bit. This is really interesting. The headline in red, happy house, happy spouse. People, we're not selling wives here, okay? We're not. Why are you clicking that? So is it because it's red, right? So those are those interesting things. Look at the navigation here as we go across. I'm a big proponent of this. Give people what they want. So we see that has the highest clicks, then it goes down, and then the how-to, people can go into a blog and resources, and then the About Us sees a lot of activity as well, because there's more deeper contact personal information. You can go into the
Is your phone number a click to call?
Say again?
Is your phone number a click to call?
Yeah. But of course, it goes down, right? I think it was 22 on mobile, 3 because, you know, it's going to trigger WhatsApp and you're on a desktop.
Right.
But it's really good to see on the desktop side, you know, notice now look at on desktop, we get 14 clicks where we only got like 1 on mobile. We don't see clicks here as much. It's diminished. And this increases a little bit. But again, from a design point of view, I should really look at having some sort of a clear visual that says, hey, click me, right?
Right.
What's kind of cool too is you go down, and it's more prominent on some of the individual service pages, but people do click and scroll 40 times. They've gone through and scrolled through the reviews. So you've got to have those trust factors. I've noted this too. Sometimes these are, people do click them, but they don't go anywhere. I should maybe have more information so that you can go see the award. You can go see more information, go directly to the Yelp profile. Again, many times I don't want people to leave the site. I want to keep them here. So I could maybe just have a trust page or
maybe a pop-up. If you try to pop up, maybe like
Yeah.
that kind of zooms in.
Right. Even they could click, just like more information.
Yeah.
And I think in the way AI is going to be working more, they want to connect these dots. So if I make these kinds of claims and I see the human is clicking on them, I might want to satisfy that human. Like, what more do they want? Do they need that extra satisfaction?
So let me stop you for just a second. I want viewers to pay attention to this. You'll notice, so obviously in Western worlds, we read from left to right, right? So if you look at the click trail, it kind of comes in like a little snake. Like it comes left to right, it curves around like little S's.
Yeah.
So that's something that's great about Microsoft Clarity is you're really able to kind of see where human eyes are really following, right? So where they're clicking, you can kind of see a common trail.
And notice too, like there's clicks at the end of the paragraphs. I'm really careful to only do 4 lines here, sometimes just 3.
Yeah.
It's really, I probably spend way too much time writing these perfect little feature boxes, I call them, but it makes such a difference, right? As to what people are doing and what they're clicking on. Microsoft Clarity is not perfect. It can, because of privacy, it might assume that there's nothing more than graphics and some text here. I don't know why it's hiding it out. This particular item actually slides in with the video, why it's not rendering. It's not a big deal. We're also looking at a ton of data, 365 days, and I think we have, like 3,500 visits. So tons of information. Cool too to see what people do at the end. Remember, this is your last chance. Again, if you're at the top of a list, they're likely going to click it. If you're first in list, you're more likely to click and get that information. People will click on color buttons as well as those links when they see that kind of information. And anytime you have those underlying hyperlinks. So just be careful of chunking that data and making sure things flow well. And remember, it's a journey, right? What's the most likely path people are going to take to want to do business with you?
And one thing that's cool too is Microsoft Clarity has AI built into it. So if you actually click on the individual user and kind of it'll summarize like what that user was doing. It looks like they viewed here. It looks like they clicked on this section. They stayed on this particular section on the web page for 2 minutes, and then they started scrolling down a little bit. So it kind of summarizes what the actual journey was when the user visited
you can
that
do
page.
full recordings, and so you'll see the cursors. Go ahead and comment below, and give us a subscribe and if you have a question, if you'd like to see more on that, we're happy to demo it. But man, taking care of customers and making them happy, that is the key to kicking butt for your local business.
There you go. All right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we're going to play some G&Bs right now. How we doing?
Tech Talk! JP Tech Talk!
We're not verifying GMBs today. We're actually going to be talking about a nice little thing I like to call optimizing for humans, maps, and machines, which right now this is kind of what's going to be the most important thing moving forward. Kind of reason why I wanted to stay involved more with the group, just because I kind of see the trends are going. We talked about this on several episodes ago, where kind of short summary how I got into Google Maps is I was heavily into 401 directory assistance. You call 401, you get 3 options. And we're kind of seeing some of those trends happening on a more digital level online. So the biggest thing we want to make sure that we're covering is SEO at the end of the day hasn't really changed. It's just now that Google is the driving force into some of these other AI models.
Well, pardon me. I see ads every day that says SEO has changed. What's the deal?
So the deal is
Oh, wait, they're full of shit.
they are. So now we're kind of coming into something where we have to optimize really for 3 things. We have to optimize for obviously the user. Using a tool like Microsoft Clarity is an extremely helpful tool. It's very lightweight as well. So it doesn't run. Some of these other heat maps have very heavy JavaScript. Microsoft Clarity is a very, very light tool. So you're not going to see any bog down that you see on some of these other heat maps. And it's free. And who doesn't like free? One thing that I want to kind of reiterate, we're going to be using Handyman as the example here, since this is the Handyman episode. I did build a little tool in Gemini, which I'll make public here pretty soon, that you can use this to understand entities, kind of understand how they work, and types of things that you want to put on your site. I'm going to go ahead and just click on generate here. Real quick, I'm going to jump into a page that I created this morning. For handyman services, great thing about AI is you can create some pretty simple pages like I made this morning just using Gemini. One thing that's important too, and I'm going to show you some examples of kind of the verbiage that you're going to want to include in your page, whether that be a landing page for your Google business profile and any additional pages. Is a lot of the messaging that you want to have here, because no longer are we just needing to optimize for the user, because the user is what converts and makes us money, but now we're having to make sure that we have everything aligned with Google, and also ultimately into AI. Google is really becoming the driving force into they're kind of becoming more of a data supplier to large companies now. It seems like there's an AI that I like called Perplexity. A lot of their local results are actually pulling in from Google. Even ChatGPT, they're actually going to be implementing their own browser and own search engine in the next coming weeks. So keep that in mind. But a lot of the results that even are showing up in ChatGPT are even pulling in from Google, Bing, places, and things like that. So keep in mind that although SEO it may look different, the driving force of what we need to do is still very much alive. So the messaging has to work for, local handyman. We want to mention things like licensed, insured, local, guaranteed. One thing I didn't add in here is kind of more transparency in pricing, because that's something that Google looks at as a trust factor, making sure that consumers aren't getting screwed over by any means. So maybe just you can even have a little price break point, like, hey, here's my hourly as a handyman. Here's some typical things that you may expect to pay if it's a small painting job, landscaping job, something like that. Kind of similar to what we saw today to that Boise handyman, just kind of including some different services that you may specialize in. So in this particular case, my entities look a little bit different, where I actually broke it down into kind of small subsets. So I have in here interior home repair and maintenance, which would include things like drywall repair, painting and touch-ups, door repair, tile and grout repair, which is typically, handyman's going to be doing that. Handymans are usually there to kind of fix these smaller projects, usually
Right.
those small repairs.
Jumping
Exactly. Into installation, mounting.
A bigger contractor does not want to mess with, for sure.
Yeah. Furniture assembly, TV mounting, and then we have exterior like gate repair, fence, deck repair, gutter cleaning, and then some kind of minor plumbing and electrical. So these are typical of what you'll see in Handyman. And then we kind of trusted into some online reputation. We have a list of some different reviews. And then we have our contact us and so forth. So now we moved in from, the the user. Now we're going to be jumping into Google Maps. So if we look at Handyman in Pleasant Hill, one thing I like too that a lot of people aren't utilizing is using these sponsored ads. They're very easy to set up. We can do a whole episode talking about Google Maps and creating these ads, but very, very effective to getting more traffic. They do help you along the way with some rankings as well. And then just keep in mind too that the overall standard with ranking on Google Maps is kind of comes down to branding, which we talk about a lot. That's getting your citations. One thing that's important too, as I show you as we jump into AI, is making sure that we're on some of those top citations. And definitely, reviews, reputation. So everything that we talk about in the show, you definitely want to continue. I wanted to get into more about Google's AI because you're going to start seeing some changes happening more and more with their AI and kind of the way the search results work when it comes to local. There's a little search lab icon here. If you're logged in as a Gmail user, you should. Do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Oops, let me pop out a little
Extra
bit.
You would still have to
special
sign
Zoom.
up for Search Labs though, right? Because
It's usually defaulted. Sometimes it will show for new accounts, but you can get notified of any new programs and tests that they're doing. So if you click on this little Search Labs, you can actually register to kind of see what's happening, what new tools they have, agentic AI mode, and just some different tools when it comes to AI. If we go into, let me jump in here. We'll try AI mode. And we can try Handyman Boise.
I was hoping you were gonna who is the funniest SEO or something like that.
No, we don't care about that. If I did that, I'll just look up a Wikipedia and see a picture of Keith.
Don't
These are things
do that at home, please. Whatever
I'm
you
about to
do.
search it now.
So these are things that you want to keep in mind of additional citations. Thumbtack isn't really a citation. They're more of a lead provider. But if you're a handyman, I definitely recommend getting on Thumbtack and paying the per lead because they get a ton of traffic. But you'll notice that kind of the first things you see here, it's going to be some of these top results, Mr. Handyman of Boise, My Treasure Valley. So these are kind of pulling in the first 5 or 6 results that are coming directly what's ranking on Google Maps or what they think is actually the recommended. Now, these results aren't necessarily meaning that these guys are ranking first, but AI is pulling these as recommended companies based on kind of maybe some user history, general services, or what someone may want to hire. But you're going to see a common theme with all of these. What's the most common thing you see? Reputation, right? Has a 4.9 star rating, high rated 5-star, has a 4.9, has a 4.9. Like they're not going to recommend someone who has a shitty,
really
10 1-star
stressing that
reviews.
Social proof first, right? Reminding you, hey, this is highly recommended. We wouldn't mislead you. We want to give you a good referral.
Yeah, I do like they usually put a little disclaimer on the bottom, it'll say something along the lines like some AI results may look different, so don't expect, even we do make mistakes, right? So now one thing else I want to cover too, services, this will pull sometimes from the services category that you can actually add services in there.
Ooh,
So that's one thing to consider as well. Rates, we talked about rates, remember when we went over the Boise, so being transparent about typical rates that you may see. So this is kind of when you do a search in your local area, if you're a local handyman throughout the US, do a local search, click on the AI mode and just take a look and see what types of things that you're noticing here, because if you don't have some of this messaging already on your website, on your webpage, on your Google business, these are things that you may want to start adding in.
Nice. Yeah.
Licensing is a big one. People want to make sure that you're licensed, which you think would be a no-brainer, but sometimes handyman, for whatever reason, don't get licensed. So these are just kind of some more trust factors to keep in mind as a handyman service that these are some of the messaging that you want to have on your website that's really tied into your Google business profile. So that's everything I wanted to cover here today. It's everything, starting from the user, starting with the search engine, jumping into AI.
Yeah, real clear cut and good information, like it's like just the facts, right? Not so much opinions, not about offers. If you're going to buy something, you obviously want to know what the price is going to be. So you've got to be transparent with that information.
There you go. Love it. Great tips. Let's get on to our last reaction.
Oh,
video.
yes!
There we go. Here we
You're
go.
living-
Someone searches and sees message the business right on your profile and you respond within 5 minutes instead of 5 hours, you're going to get that lead over your slow competitors. Set up templated quick replies in the app. Yes, we serve that area. What's your address? Or we can schedule you this week. What day works best? Also turn on request a quote if it's available for your business type. That adds another call to action directly on your profile. The goal is to give people multiple ways to contact you, then be faster than everyone else at responding. Speed wins in local service business.
Speed wins, especially if you have magic fingers and you're a magician, right? Whoops,
It's all
don't look
about
over
the,
here.
it's all
Whoop,
about the
there it
Italian
is.
hand. If you got the Italian hand, it wins and converts.
Makes sense.
No,
right?
I mean
Our-
it's absolutely right. I mean use everything at your disposal. I mean it's 2025. You need to have some tech. You know, if you're still running off of a a palm tree or a BlackBerry, you're probably not going to get anywhere, right? So
Are
I
those
think
special enhancements on a GBP or limited
think-
release? Like what?
I mean you can have like messaging and someone
Yeah.
can message you on like
Yeah.
WhatsApp or even a text message, but it's kind of hard to see. So I think that what's most important that we kind of talked a little bit in the past is, especially if you're like after hours, how many times if you're, a handyman and you've missed, you're at the movies, you're like, man, it's been slow. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to take my family to the movies. And as soon as you get in the movie theater, you sit down with your popcorn, the movie's about to start, and you get 5 phone calls. You're like, what the hell is going on? Like, why couldn't you? It happens all the time, right? So, but if you have a nice system in place where you have a messaging, hey, after hours, or have it ring to, another kind of AI number that, we have AI agents that can answer after hours and things like that. And like have a nice messaging system that kind of helps you facilitate that customer. And then eventually, you could spend some time with their family, or that way you're not missing any opportunities. Like Keith had a client who was getting a ton of missed calls on the weekends and he didn't even know. Right. So there we have great tools at our disposal to kind of use into different messaging platforms.
When I was looking at, we had lunch yesterday, right, JP? And one of the restaurants said, "Hey, you can send a message," and there's a little note by it. It says, "This restaurant responds within 5 hours, average of 5 hours."
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that's a good thing,
Well,
right?
not good.
Tracking that. I mean, I would think speed would. I mean, who would want to like send a message, or if you're not going to respond?
And like
within,
a lot of restaurants too, like they have these weird hours where they'll be open from like 11 o'clock to like 3 o'clock, and then they close down for like 2 or 3 hours to get ready for dinner,
Mid-afternoon
right?
break.
So a lot of times, like maybe have some type of messaging system in there. Says, hey, we're closed right now. We're gonna be open in a couple hours. Here's tonight's specials, type of thing. Like think how cool that would be if you could, hey, here's tonight's specials. Here, let us know if you want to receive a text message. Type in your cell phone number, and then you could have a nice little automated system. And now you've got someone in your messaging funnel, and then there's a lot of things you can do even just simply with SMS that I don't think people that are really aware of, that you can really help automate a lot of things so that you're not missing any opportunities. You should not be able to miss any opportunities whatsoever.
Love it. There you go. All right, we are at time. Great episode, guys. Return episode. A lot of knowledge bombs dropped here. If you guys want to continue, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and also check out the website. I actually totally missed the part where you actually rebuild every single industry on the site. So, guys, there is a huge cheat sheet for every industry that we cover on our website.
It breaks
Go
it
to
down
GBP.
what
Yeah.
you should do, build citations, do branding. We're gonna have some more stuff in there with AI, but definitely when click on the page, you get some great ideas. Watch the episodes. So we'll see you next week.
All right, guys. See you guys next week.
Yeah, buddy. Bye.
Hey, GBP roast, GBP roast. Sorry, you in danger. Right now, I got a flame here. This is GBP roast, GBP roast. On your Google business profile, it's about to go down. We roasting and react. reacting. We ain't come to play. 20 years in SEO. JP, Lambo, and Dre, bringing facts and guests. Oh yeah, we bring the dopeness. Welcome to the show. Hope your profile don't get roasted.